Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. You're very welcome to our weekly league show, and we're looking ahead to all the action coming up this weekend. As always, Tommy Coleman is my guest, and he's going to help us discuss everything that's coming up. And there's loads coming up on the weekend. There's 3 league titles up for grabs. There's 2 league titles up for grabs, and Shane O'Neill's are also going to be presented with the Division 2A league trophy. So a lot to play for this weekend in terms of relegation, promotion, league titles, and we're all looking forward to it here on the Sideline Eye. So Tommy, great to have you on, and we'll start with a big one in 1A, and we've been predicting this for a couple of weeks. We knew this was going to come to the last day of the season. It's the Harps taking on Clevie in what is a league decider. The two teams is joint at the top of the table, 18 points each. The winner takes all here, and a draw would actually do the Harps because they have the head-to-head on Clevie. But obviously, in a game like this, you want to win it, and whoever wins gets the trophy, basically.
Yeah, that's just two of the teams I think we've talked about on the positive side for most of the season. Harps was a team I I went for at the start. The mere fact that with the panel and the squad of players that they had and the availability of everybody to them. But Clevie has always impressed me. I've made no secret about that there on the podcast. I've been impressed with them, and I always felt that there's just that wee bit more in them, and they could push on. That's great to see them doing that this year. This match will go down. To predict it, it's going to be extremely difficult. Two teams are well evenly matched, and it gets that. People say they don't care about the league, but they care about the league when you're at stake and you're going for it, and there's a trophy at the end of it, and you get the when you get the champions tag. And certainly there is, and I've been involved with league titles before, and I've loved every minute of it, and certainly loved it after it more so maybe after when you went for a couple of beer, whatever it was. But it's it's there to be taken, and Clevie, I don't know when I wasn't there still on holiday when we played Clevie. I didn't get to see them the second time round either. No other Harps were the 2 matches I missed. But I think Kieran O'Hanlon picked up a bit of an injury that night. It was a pretty serious knee injury by all accounts. Now I haven't heard any more on it. Where boys reckon it might have been dislocated, and I don't know if that. Then you're going for a scan and whether there's any other. Anything else there, God forbid if there was. Kieran's a great player, and these are the type of players who come around the championship time. These are the players that you want to be watching and hope to see. And I hope for him and for his club that he's there and he's available, because he's a delight to watch. And
I think he's out for the season. I think Tommy was what there was reported. So he's obviously a huge miss for Clevie, and as you say, for the neutral going to these championship games, he's going to be a big loss.
Yeah, just nearly every club now, we'll probably get that at another time, is going to be missing one of the big players. But he's a great player to watch. He's one of the reasons why these are lads we want to go and watch play football. And I wish him a full and speedy recovery. And that's a bad blow to him. It's a bad blow to his club, because he would be a central figure as well on their, going for the championship. So when you take all that there, and I say that when I read the Harps report last week, I say they must have been listening to me about not getting scores, because they seemed to have a good spread of scores last week. And I think if the Harps can maintain that there and get their scores on the board, they do create enough chances. So that they're at home as well, I think I would just edge towards the Harps, maybe just to win the title. But listen, I would not be one bit surprised, because I said before, a great admirer of Clevie. I think they're a great team, a great promise, and could easily go the other way.
I think I'm going for the Harps as well, just purely on home advantage, and that Kieran O'Hanlon's gone. It's a big blow for Clevie, and irreplaceable blow, really. Like you can't replace players like Kieran O'Hanlon. So I would say that I'm just tipping the Harps, but I'm a bit like yourself, Tommy. I wouldn't be putting much money on it now.
Oh no, don't be going daft on that one. No, definitely.
But that's the way the league has worked out. That's the league final. But the other 3 games are all important for the bottom end of the table. So we'll sort of give a roundup of all three. Tommy, I was at Mahary and Cross last week, and I'll have to give you credit. You tipped a Mahary victory.
Yeah.
They beat Cross. 2 goals were the deciding factors. Obviously, Kevin Robinson got one in the first half, and Kieran Higgins in the second half. It's in Crossmaglen this time, and as everybody knows now, there was 4 red cards at the end of the game, the last 10 minutes. Now, I have to admit, it wasn't a niggly game. It wasn't a 4 red card game, but that obviously would have made the headlines. There will probably be a bit of niggle heading into the Crossmaglen. I'm sure because of the rivalry the teams have built up over the last couple of years. Crossmaglen would love to relegate Mahary, and obviously Mahary need to win the game. So a lot riding on that game as well.
Oh, there is. I don't know. It's. I was talking to a couple of lads that were out of there, neutrals as well. Like, everything you said there, they told me the exact same thing. They didn't see a big lad in it, and maybe said that the referee had probably warned them prior to what had happened. But certainly, taking 4 out of your squad, out of your starting team, it's a big blow to Cross. If they're looking to win it. I don't know. I think Kane's back. James didn't play either at the weekend. I don't know if them 2 boys come back in. Obviously, it'll be a big help and a big bonus. But I still maintain. I always say when you have something really to play for, for Cross is fulfilling the last fixture. That's where they are now. You can't go on. They're sitting there in the race. They'll be third. Any normal year they'll be sitting lovely and happy because they made the top 4. If we're going back to the old round robin stages in the championship. So with that, they're 9. I know that they'll always like to beat Mahary, and that, but there's always been that wee bit of tension probably between those ever since the championship final at that time. But I just feel that maybe Mahary have that more to aim for and more to play. And I did say to you last week, I thought that any team that could beat Cross twice in the league, and the only team they think they could do it is Mahary, because they have that their self-belief, and they'll be going up this week, and they'll be quite confident of getting the win again. And I'm going to edge towards them. I'm going to edge towards Mahary again. It's all to play for, but they'll have that their belief. They'll have that extra drive, knowing that they need to win to survive, and that hunger should just carry them over the line. Because at the end of the day, Cross have been looking, as I said last week, they're looking further down the line now, and what they want to do is regain the championship, and I'm sure they'll not want to put anything else, at risk anything else there. So that'll be. I'm just going to go for Mahary again.
And obviously, if Mahary do win, they still need Greenmore to get beat by Modern to stay up. So Modern are in a relegation fight. They play Modern. Greenmore in a relegation fight. They play Modern, and Drummondhea the same. They host Clonard on Friday night. So I'm sure Modern, probably a bit like the Crossmaglen and Mahary scenario, they wouldn't mind relegating their rivals Greenmore. While Drummondhea and Clonard, there's probably not that recent history or rivalry there. So I assume Clonard want to win. It's their last competitive game before the championship, but it's the same situation as you were saying. They're safe. They're building up to the championship now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in these 3 games come the weekend.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure. I was trying to say the results. Greenmore, have they got the head-to-head on that?
They have the head-to-head, yeah.
What, Dermot? It's a big thing for them. So it's Greenmore. It's in Greenmore's hands, and when Greenmore weren't going so well, they actually went they beat Modern, Modern who were flying at that time, and they actually beat. I remember that there they beat Modern in that their derby game just to get themselves up and running, and they put a few wins together after that there to get themselves in a good position, and then they fell away again. Modern. Modern has played well last week. You look at whether it's only a 3-point game, but again they're very reliant on Conor Grimley there for the scores. But other things, so Greenmore can get him and get a handle on him. Again, Modern's sitting safe. And they look at them and ourselves who came out of 1B last year, finished up comfortable enough and they held their own, so it gives you a good idea of the standard. And 1B as well, especially the teams that are coming up. and you know, probably you'd have the edge for Greenmore this one as well. You know,
Yeah, it's going to be hard to call, Tommy, because you would feel that Greenmore, Mahon and Drummond, they're going to have that bit of an edge to them, that it's a must-win game, like that. Their season is maybe going to be defined by whatever happens on Friday evening.
Yeah, it is surely, and the three matches, you know, the three of them have that there, that hunger, and you know, I hate going against my own club as well, but you know, I think Drummond will have that there extra hunger. When you're going out there and you know you're fighting for your life, it makes an awful difference to your performance. Hunger is a massive ingredient to the game. I think sometimes it's underestimated. You know, just the drive that you have and your will to survive. So, you know, definitely for me, I'll just edge it. I could go anywhere. Modern again, they won't want to be beaten by their local rivals twice. That's for sure. So it'll not be a gimme. They'll not be saying, "Oh, I'll let these boys stay up." Far from it. They'll be looking to win and we're looking to go at it. But Greenmore, I think Greenmore holds the cards, and they know more than anybody. They win, they stay. That's the way it is, and it's a massive game for them, and you know, it's still. I'll just go with Greenmore. How about yourself?
Yeah, I would think Greenmore, to be honest, Tommy, and I think, as you said, that game at the start of the year where Greenmore weren't going well at all and Mod were flying and Greenmore still had the ability to turn them over. The thing is that was in Greenmore and this one's in Modern, so that could sway it a wee bit. But I agree with you, if Greenmore can get to grips with Conor Grimley and maybe it's a Ross Finn or Kieran Doyle or somebody that goes out to the middle of the field to try to mark him, and if they can do that, I think that they might have enough to get over the line. But again, these games are all impossible to call. So it's gonna be a mad weekend in all the divisions, and we'll go through the rest of them here.
It's great finish, you know. It's a great finish for our Armagh League. You know, it's great advertisement. It just shows you how close and how competitive these leagues have been. You know, somebody's going to win this league in 20 points. Somebody's going down on 11. You know, it's and you finish in mid-table 15, 16 points, and it really does. There's not a big lot in it. And on any given day, you know, if you can get it right, any team gets it right, they can get the win, regardless of who they're playing.
And 1B, something similar. And I suppose there's 2 weeks left of 1B, and when we're talking about it, we're always going to talk about this second place and how difficult it is going to be for. I think there's 4 really in contention for it. Ballymacnob take on Carrickcruppen at the weekend, but that's sort of a dead rubber. Ballymacnob have won the league, Carrickcruppen are relegated. And Ballymacnob, we have an interview coming up with Ryan Waters at the end of the show. He helped Ballymacnob to the league title, obviously, and they got the cup last weekend, beating Silverbridge by a point. But the rest of the games are all worth talking about. Tommy, I'll just Mullabone and Cullyhanna take on each other on Friday night. Silverbridge hosts Clonagale. Grange take on Sarsfields, and Cullyhanna and Clonagale take on each other then on Sunday. So everybody sort of has something to play for here, and Cullyhanna coming up against Mullabone. Mullabone's currently second. Cullyhanna are just, we still talk about them hovering above that relegation zone, just closing in on safety ever so much with every coming week. And they got a 1-point victory over Carrickcruppen, a hard-earned 1-point victory. And it's another big weekend for Cullyhanna. They've Mullabone and Clonagale, who are both chasing promotion. So the things are hotting up in 1B, and the last 2 weeks are going to really be incredible to watch.
Yeah, well, it's massive, you know, massive again for Cullyhanna. This will define them. You know, if they go win these 2 matches, I think they maybe they could pull off the Houdini act, to be quite honest. But it's going to be a big ask. You know, to play Friday and then to play Sunday. Friday night, Derby again, Mullabone, a team. You know, and we know the quality of the forward line that they have too. You know, we talk about, you know, the Cullyhanna forwards when they go back in, and you know, Ross, Aidan, and Jason, when they all play. But you know, equally, you know, you have to look at Mullabone's. Mullabone, they've been knocking at the door. They had a great run towards the end of last year. You know, I think they actually probably finished 3rd maybe in our league. You know, and where that fell down was the previous year of the COVID. They had a poor enough start, but then the second year round they had a great year. We played really well the second half again them last year to clinch promotion. But so they've been thereabouts. I think it's a very, very difficult one to call again. Mullabone, again, I was going to edge for Mullabone in this one. I just think they'll want to keep their promotion hopes going and try to get up into 1A. I don't think there'll be a big lot in it. I think it's going to be very tight. And then I'm saying that there, and I look back and I look at the performance of Cullyhanna when they went to Silver Bridge, which was a big derby game, and they won the 7 or 8 points. So you just don't know. But this week, this is a big weekend for them, and I don't know. It's a big ask. It's a real big ask. So if Mullabone with them being in contention, I would just edge towards them. Depending again, if all their forwards and if they're all there or not,
And I think it's something similar for Clonagale. They have 2 games. Obviously, the game in hand is Clonagale against the St Patrick's. That's the refixture on Sunday. But Clonagale have Silver Bridge on Friday night. And we sort of said last week about Clonagale and Sarsfields that whoever won it was having a big say in the promotion race. And it could be the same this weekend. Whoever wins this game, Silver Bridge and Clonagale, will just take another step further to challenge it for that second place. And I think you were at that Clonagale and Sarsfields game, Tommy, going by the scoreline. Really impressive from Clonagale, and they've a lot of talent. I seen them against Mullabone. I thought Shane McPartland was brilliant. He was probably the best player on the field that evening. How good were they last Friday against Sarsfields?
Yeah, well, I think they were very, very good. They moved the ball extremely well. The middle third of the field, they were half back line, middle of the field, and half forward line were very, very good. And then we're getting the ball in, especially in the second half. Young Mickey Tones, was superb for them, super. But I have to say that the Sarsfields to me look very, very flat. They're very dead on their feet. They look like a team to be. They were jaded. Probably, at this time of year too, it's just hard to know what's clubs or what way they're approaching for the championship now and what way they're training. But they look like a team to me to be very heavy legged. Now, in fairness to them, they fought on to the end, and they got a couple of goals right in the last 5 minutes, and actually missed a penalty kick as well. So it would have been a bigger defeat really only for that. But the Clowns, the halfback line's very young, and they were moving the ball well. They were supporting the player well. They were carrying the ball in when they had to do it, and they're only young lads, Jamie Brady, Diarmuid Loney, and young Megan McConville. And I have to say, young McConville, that's the 3rd time I've seen him, and I'm very, very, very impressed with him. And he may be small stature, but he by everything else that he has, he may be small lad, but he has everything. He's a heart like a lion, and he just drives forward at every opportunity. He uses the ball well. He's a great player. The Americans, he kept him there, man. I think it was last year, the year before.
2020, I think he was the captain.
He's got a lot of quality about him, so he has. And he had a great game last week. When he drove forward, the Sarsfields could do nothing with him. Getting a hand on him at all. The middle of the field, Perrin, and it's an odd. McPartland's not that old. He's been around for a long time, but he's not old. I think he's only about 24, 25. And young Lennox Kamara was in alongside him. He's not that long out of mine or two, and he's developing into a terrific footballer. Shane, we know what Shane's capable of anyway. He's quality footballer. Them two really dominated the middle of the field. Lennox got a goal early into the second half or after Sippy's one, and it just killed the game off completely. But there's plenty of running out of them, and the half forward line was the same. They were the movement and their pace, the way they used the ball was split. But I suppose on the downside of it, I just things that they're not the finished article yet. A lot of ball drops short. There's a lot of wides kicked. The game, they put a wee burst on with 10 minutes to go at the end of the first half, and that's where put them 4-5 in front. The truth be told, it could have been 10 in front. and they just hadn't got that clinical finishing. And then I suppose start of the second half, something looked to me straight off the training field. The ball was 3 up. We were able to break it down with Portland, dropped it off, picked the ball up, and everybody ran out and just left Soupy one-on-one inside, big ball in, caught it, torn, superb finish. And that was game over then, really, and it was a question of how many Clowns would win by after that there. But for the Sorceries, for me, they looked dead in their feet and didn't look sharp at all. But Clowns, certainly, our team, probably things will be a bit early for them this year. We'll come around, we'll talk about championship or stuff. But they are a club that is heading in the right direction. There's been tremendous work going on in the Clans this last 10, 12 years, and Diarmuid has spearheaded that there, and you can see it starting to come to fruition. And a lot of them young players like Matty Lang and all Matty was in there the other night starting the centre half forward. These are all young guys who are still learning their trade. And there's going to be days there's going to be good days and bad days with them until they get that experience. But there's certainly a club that you'll have to look at going down the line and say, yeah, they're not going to be far away.
Yeah,
and
I think they'll be targeting the second spot. I think because they do have that game in hand, and now that they won that last week and won it convincingly. That they have 2 games this weekend, and as do Cullyhan, obviously. So it's a tough weekend. Tell me a game Friday and a game Sunday with, we said it in 1A.
Games, Silverbridge has been massive. Silverbridge is massive for them, and you're going there, and it's not easy going to Silverbridge. I can testify that there. It's Silverbridge is in the run. They know that they have to win as well. So, it's going to be a real tough one. And then Sunday's match, it depends on what the result is on Friday night.
Yeah.
If Cullyhan get over the line against Mullabone, then you're in for an all-home dinner. If Cullyhan are beat, that's them more or less gone. So you would fancy the Clans to come out of that one handy enough. But I think Friday night's the key matches here. Depending on whatever way the results go, it depends. We'll see what happens on Sunday. But for me, the bridge is very, very difficult to get up there. And that's a good young Clans team. I don't know whether I just have the experience enough to get them over the line up there. I would, because of the home advantage, I would go for the bridge.
Well, obviously, as always, we'll be bringing you up to date scores on Friday night. So obviously, for a lot of the divisions, this is the last night of the league action. So we'll try to get them scores and results out as soon as possible. But in 2A, tell me there's nothing to play for here. Shane O'Neill's have got the league title and got it. Was kicking a ball last Thursday night. Niall McConville basically won the league for them. Not sure if you talked. Yeah, I was at it myself, and Niall McConville was heroic for St. Peter's. But St. Paul's, I was well impressed with them. I thought they were very good. They were the better team on the night. Only Niall McConville, for anybody that wasn't at the game, pulled it out of the fire in the last 10 minutes. Got 4 really classy points in the last 10 minutes to get a draw for St. Peter's. But St. Paul's, they can still get second place, which if Shane O'Neill's win the championship, St. Paul's will get promoted. So maybe a wee bit.
It's just score difference, or what way is it work?
I think it would be score difference.
The Peters had a big score. They put a big score up on Sunday. I don't know what it would be. I haven't checked it out.
I should actually double check that, Tommy. But
yeah, you're right. St. Paul's looked more likely for 45 minutes. The first 10 minutes was tentative enough, and then St. Paul's really got going. I was up to the end that I was at, was twice they were inside and the wrong decision was given. If they give the ball inside, goal was on twice. Andrew Muir was through once and he wasn't too pleased that he didn't get it. I thought Andrew Muir was magnificent in the first half. The game just revolved around him and they couldn't do anything with him. And then he sort of drifted out a wee bit. But for me, the key of it was the St. Paul's goalkeeper seemed to pick up some sort of a leg injury.
Yeah.
And his kick-outs prior to that, he was just pinging them everywhere. Like St. Paul's won possession from all their own kick-outs. I don't think the Peters turned over one. And then he seemed to pick out that injury. He couldn't get the ball out as far. Peters, that was the last 15 minutes, and the Peters pushed up, and you're right, everything broke down, and Niall McConville just became the Niall McConville show then after that there, and he took score after score after score, and you know, he done. I thought he was absolutely superb, you know, and then they had a good win then on Sunday, and I don't know what the score difference is there, you know, honestly don't, but.
It could
was a
possibly.
big
I think
difference,
if
big
the
scores.
if the two of them get at the same points, I think it goes to head. And just off the top of my head, I'm not sure who would get through then on second place. But
It's two draws, you say, so
it will go to score difference then. So
there's no score
possibly.
difference.
But this is only if Shane O'Neill's win the championship that the second place actually matters. So
That's right. You know, I think we talked about that, about how competitive intermediate that's going to be this year. You know, so but so Paul's done a great job where they've come from. Shane, you know, he's done an absolutely magnificent job. And you know, Davy's sure he'll be content enough. You know, they've got in probably they were sitting maybe on the second one, but you know, we did fancy Shane's. I think we called it at the start. We thought Shane's would be the team to win it this year, and you know, we do when it comes around the championship time. We probably they'll be certainly the British favourites now. You know, but that doesn't mean to say I think this is a real open competitive intermediate championship, and I think there's several teams will be in with a good shout. Like.
And even some of the 2B teams that we're going to go on and talk about now, definitely in with a shout. And this top three, Tommy, we've been talking about them every week, and they just can't get broken up. One week it's Tiernogan go ahead, Cullavilla are ahead at the minute, Blake still unbeaten, but it's Tiernogan Blake this week, and this could be a deciding game. I think Blake still have Tiernogan and Cullavilla to play in the coming weeks, so that could possibly be their last two games. So huge couple of weeks coming up for Blake if they want to push on for promotion. But looking forward to this weekend. It's Tiernogan and Blake. That's the big one in Portadown. Blake's unbeaten record on the line here, and whoever wins has a chance to. I think they'll stay in second, because depending on what happens with Cullavilla on Friday night. But Division 2B, it's impossible to call at this stage.
Yeah, it's them three have been up and about, and you know, at one stage it looked like Cullavilla were going to run away with it. And I think a couple of boys got injured, and we don't know what all happened, but certainly in the last couple of matches, you know, we didn't expect them. I don't think certainly anybody outside the camp wouldn't have expected them to lose, but they're putting up the big scores again. I think the last week they put up 217 and 216. That's big tallies, you know. So them lads must be back. They're back on at it again, you know. So I'd fancy again for them to get a win. Portadown, but like game, you know, where do you go? How would you go about forecasting it? Both them teams, you know, have done magnificent this year. One's come down out of 2A after a terrible season. We're rebuilding. Got a lot of youth in, you know, with a few experienced players in around them to steady the ship and see where they go. And they've done an absolute magnificent job to stay up there at the top end of the table. And Blake, who, you know, probably came in under the radar. I never really, I wasn't looking at them when I came in, to be quite honest, at the start. And I said that there, you know, I probably underestimated them. They've been absolutely superb this year. To come up into that next level, people think it's actually only going from junior to intermediate or intermediate to senior. It's a substantial jump when you're going from one level to another across the board. And Blake's have been tremendous this year in what they've done. And not only, you know, we were looking at them again because of their championship pedigree. You know, people looking at them again that they also give a bit of a run in the championship. To call this game, I don't know. You know, Portadown's tight pitch, they'll be up for it. But Lake have just been scraping through there this last couple of weeks. I don't know. Could be a draw. Could be a draw.
It was a draw the last time.
Was it?
It was a draw 12 each the last time. Yeah.
Well, maybe. I know we're so tight like that. Where I tend to go, I would tend to go with a home advantage. So maybe just Portadown to sneak it. Maybe just, but you know, at the same time, Blake's could just as easily turn the tables on them, you know. But it's been an absolutely brilliant league this year. You know, the three teams are, and again, you know, it just shows you you know, the way with the leagues and the makeup with the leagues in Armagh, how good it is, you know, with how competitive it is when you're coming down and there's still an interest there in most of the leagues coming up to the last day. And funny enough, the league that was said will probably go to the last day is the one the league that the 2A one. So didn't get that one right, but all the rest of them, you know, going, and they're going to be going right through the last day. But instead, at the start, we said Collaville, and I haven't changed my mind on Collaville. I still think that they're the top side in it. I think they've got that wee bit more craft and experience, and I think that they're going to carry them through, and they'll be sitting nicely promoted and then get a good crack at the championship again this year.
And just on Tiernogan, Billig, before we go down to the junior, tell me, Billig are out Friday night, they play Clonmore, and Tiernog, they'll be coming in fresh on Sunday. I assume they'll go to that Clonmore and Billig game, they'll get a look at Billig before taking them on 2 days later. So that's probably a bit of it. We were talking about Clans and St. Pat's. They won't have that advantage on Sunday because they're both playing Friday night, but Tiernog can go and watch Billig and get a bit of an insight into what they have.
But I'm sure they know anyway. They know from the last game, but they've been saying who's there and who's about, and if there's made any changes or not. They're playing in Clonmore. Clonmore, I think, were relegated then again last week. So, you know, that's them. That's sort of more or less they're down along with Ballyhagan. I don't know whether they'll learn a big lot, but they'll certainly be there watching it. And you know, it's just 2 games in 2 days for the league, and we're just at Portadown at home. You just have to sort of just lean towards Portadown, I think. But again, I don't look. When I'm talking next week, I'm saying Blake won by 3 or 4 points. So it wouldn't be, you know, you wouldn't be surprised at all. You know.
Down to 3A then, Tommy, and again, hard one to call here. It's Derrynoose and Middletown joint on points. I think it's 25 points each off the top of my head. Derrynoose ahead on score difference, but one of these teams is going to win the league on Friday night. Derrynoose take on Newtown, who they also play in the championship, just so we side note on that game, while Middletown, they take on our Rogue. So these 2 teams, both of them are going out to win. They'll be panicking on Friday night trying to get the score of the other game to see who comes through. One of them, whoever wins the game, will in themselves think that they've won the league before they hear the other result. I think going on score difference, Derrynoose obviously have the advantage, but Middletown can also win the league. So this is going to be exciting stuff on Friday night. And Derrynoose, just tell me, they've been coming along brilliantly all year, and the wheels have maybe fell off a wee bit just at the wrong time of the year. They suffered their first defeat of the season last week against Lissummon. Then Middletown went and beat them by a point. It just, I don't know if everything's going as well as it was with Derrynoose at the wrong end of the time to be losing form, obviously.
Well, again, it's something maybe I touched on earlier. You know, with Derrynoose sailing along so well, and it looked like they were going to win that league. You know, they may be well looking at a couple of weeks down ahead, and their training could have pattern could have been changed, where, you know, the boys are just not as sharp and as quick as what they were. You know, because we've got heavier stuff in the training going out, and they may be a wee bit dead in the legs or whatever else. I don't know. I haven't seen them, so I'm only throwing that in there. But that does happen in some cases, or you know, where focus tends to change from your league over into your championship, because it's hard, you know, for a team that's going so well, just for the form to change so dramatically with no real reason behind it. Of course, there could be players on holidays too. We don't know, or a couple of niggles or a couple of injuries, and he's just holding it back for the championship. But you're right, you know, someone was a team we've talked about over the last 3 or 4 weeks as well, about how well they've come on, how well they've pushed up. And they're right up there. And St. Michael's is the same. So there's no easy games. I have a feeling that both teams maybe get over the line here this week, you know, and secure. And as you said, with the goal difference, probably Derrynoose will just win it. But I think, you know, both teams could win, and then it sets up a brilliant junior championship there as well.
On 3B, we've spoken about last week. If Thomas Davis win this week and Clevie win this week, which I suppose we would expect them to do given their form of recent weeks, it'll leave a league showdown next week. Then them two play on the last day of the season, so they'll obviously be aiming for that, and a league title is something that they'll both have in their eyes.
Yeah, it's great. It's just so watching. It was actually the first two results I went to look for this week to see what way it had ended up. As I said, I spoke about how I'm fond of Thomas Davis the way that helped me out when I was with minor girls at that their time, and and the work I know the work that goes on there. So it's great to see them up and still at it and still challenging. Kalevi too. I have to take your hats off to Kalevi too. The two teams are, and one at the 3B stage and the other one and one top of one end. They're both going for league titles, and it's great work going on at their club too. And to be able to keeping two teams going, keeping two teams happy is not an easy thing by any stretch of imagination. And to do that, you have to say fair play to them. It's a massive ask, and the two of them are going so well. Good luck to them. So Kalevi's in a good place, but I would expect, as I say, you're right, would expect both them teams to win again, and it would set up a real good clash. And another one, hard to predict for next week.
So there'll be 3 league titles handed out this week. Obviously, Shane O'Neill's are getting their trophy on Sunday, and then it's the other one's 1A. Whoever wins on Friday night in the same. In 3A, between Derrynoosa and Middletown, whoever can win their game, and it's going to go right down to the wire as usual. We'll hopefully be back next week then with a few more interviews with Ryan Waters coming up at the end of the show, and he's going to talk about Ballymacnab winning Division 1B, and hopefully we'll get a few more interviews from the winners coming up in the next few weeks as well from whatever leagues are decided. Tommy, brilliant to have you on. Brilliant to hear your thoughts once again, and we'll be covering all the games this weekend. On Friday night, we'll be having all the scores coming out as soon as we can get them, league tables over the weekend as well, and match reports, of course, as always, on the podcast coming out next Wednesday again. So, Tommy, thanks for joining me, and great to hear your thoughts on all the games.
It's always a pleasure, Sean. See you again.
Good one. Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you.
So, Ryan, you're very welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on. I have you on to talk about Ballymacnab winning the Division 1B league title. You were handed the cup last Friday evening, but you actually won it the week before. But I suppose beating Silverbridge, it was nice to get the cup and get it with a win.
Oh, definitely, Sean. It would have been a wee bit of an anticlimax if I had been handed the trophy or get my first defeat of the year. I suppose we've took pride in maybe going undefeated the whole way, and we probably will remain to do so over the next 2 games. But yeah, another 2 or 3 point victory, which we're getting very used to. Them top core group of teams, there wasn't too much in a lot of our games, especially coming towards the end of the league there, when the teams got the county men back. And that, it was definitely very, very tight finish to the league. But again, we're happy to get it wrapped up and win and get the trophy. I suppose now we can put the head down for a few weeks leading the championship.
And you've been playing the top teams in 1B, the likes of Clonagale, Sarsfields, Silverbridge, all really close games. Like Silverbridge, there was only a point in it. Mm-hmm. Sarsfields, I think it was 2 and a point again to Clonagale. So it's a real competitive division.
Very competitive division, especially as I said the last few games. But suppose that's sort of the way you want it. You wouldn't want to be waltzing through there, winning by 10 plus points in any game. That would leave you a wee bit unprepared for anything in the future that's coming up. So we're happy that there were tight games and we come over. I suppose we classified them as dog fights, but we got through them, which we probably wouldn't be overly used to doing at all times. But we definitely get through the dog fights this past couple of weeks, and that obviously seen us through to get the trophy, which was very satisfying.
And I think the battle for second place in Division 1B sort of shows the competitive nature of it. There's Sarsfields are still in with chance, Clonagale, Mullabon, Silverbridge. It's going to go down to the wire the last 2 weeks.
100%, and even when you think back to the tough games, now you're going in the championship, you'll be lucky even down to Sarsfields on a wet Friday night and come through the right side of us, because those are the sort of games that stand you. So it definitely is tight below us. And I know Silverbridge, Clonagale, all real top teams, and you wouldn't want to be meeting them anytime soon in the championship, because they definitely have a string to their bow coming in the championship. They've put in a really good, strong campaign.
And I suppose you had mentioned there about your unbeaten run. I think you drew with Cullyhanna the first day of the season, and you have won every other game. So great momentum heading into the championship now. You are out I think it's the 10th of September. So you are out great momentum heading into it.
Yeah, good momentum heading into it. But I suppose, as I said, the 2 games we'll have now remaining, we could maybe obviously give boys a run out, but also put the head down. 4 weeks of really good hard training sessions, so that'll hopefully again stand us again. But as when the ball's in the athletic grounds, it's a different ball game than any league game that we've probably faced so far. So that's what I say, I'm a bit thankful for those tight league games. But again, we know Cullyhanna, the first game in the league we drew with them, even down here, definitely the first half, the first 50 minutes, it was a complete dogfight, and that's what they'll bring on the 10th on the Saturday evening. We'll know exactly what they're going to bring, and it'll be nothing ahead of 100%, and we'll have to be on top of our game no matter how many undefeated games we win in the league. It'll not a show for if we don't win on that Saturday night, and I'm sure everyone will all agree with that.
And the league, I suppose, just having Rory Grugan back for the last couple of games, obviously we've seen his exploits with the county this season. Having him back has been a huge plus to getting you over the line.
Yeah, I suppose in those tight games and you're on the ball and you're looking for someone, there's not too many more men you want to give it to than Rory, so he was a great help in the last couple of minutes going into the games. Like when you're needing a score, he's the man that we would look to, obviously. And with Jack obviously missing the past couple of games, we did need that focal point up top, along with Gavin, along with the two Q's, so it definitely was a big plus. It definitely was.
Ryan, good man, thanks for coming on.
No bother, Sean, thank you.